Hi, and welcome back to Stressed, the podcast to develop your stress resilience. Thank you so much for being here today. It's a really exciting time for me because I am not only recording this podcast today on audio, but I'm also recording it on video for the very first time for my YouTube channel. So if you're curious to see how I'm sitting here at home, recording all of the things and having all of my papers prepared, you can't actually see it in the in the um, in the picture frame, but you can see a little bit here my microphone. I am super excited to share this podcast episode with you today because I am speaking about a very personal subject today. I'm speaking about my very first month as an entrepreneur. If you have listened to my podcasts over the couple of weeks, you know that I just recently left my job to become a full-time stress management coach and trainer. And for personal development purposes and also for growing purposes, I think it's really important to reflect on a really regular basis and, just write down all the things that happened during the month to make new goals for the next month. So here is how my first month was as an entrepreneur. So let's get started. I have prepared a couple of questions for myself that I will be answering in today's episode. And I hope that, you just don't learn in this episode about how I am managing my stress as an entrepreneur, but I'm also hoping that you will learn a couple of things about, how it is to be self-employed, what kind of challenges I'm facing on a regular basis. And obviously, I hope it is inspiring for you to do whatever you would love to do as well. There's always a start, and starts can be hard, as you will hear a little bit more about in the session today. So my first question that I answered myself is, what am I grateful for? And gratefulness is such an important thing. It's an important thing in stress management because we can really quickly go into all of these negative emotions, and I have been going into negative emotions this month, of course. Like, there's a lot of stuff to figure out. I just started with business development, but I'm already getting into all of the negative things, which I didn't want to. So the first question is, what am I grateful for? And thinking about gratefulness, the first thing that comes to mind is really some really special people in my life that have been supporting me so well over the last month, namely my sister, who is so wonderful and who you've heard about in the last podcast episode. And she's such a rock in my life, and we always exchange things that are happening. We give each other advice. We hear each other out, and it's so important to have such a strong person in your life. So I'm really grateful for that. And then I'm also grateful for a couple of other friends that I do want to mention here. If they listen to the podcast, I hope that makes them happy. My friend Jo, she is in Europe, and then also my friend Katja. And they have been really integral for my business development over the last 4 weeks, because they are always there for me. They're like my most closest partners and mentors. I send them everything that I create, not everything, but a lot of different things. And I'm so grateful for them. So this is the people part. But then I'm also obviously grateful for another couple of things. I'm really grateful for learning. Oh my god, did I learn so many things this month. I learned about how to create YouTube videos. I learned about how to create custom thumbnails on Photoshop. I learned about more about stress management. Actually, I'm going through an 8-week online program at the moment, which is from Germany, and learning about stress management. I'm already eyeing the next trainings that I want to take. I will talk about this more in one of the other questions. But yeah, I'm really grateful for new learnings. I am really grateful, and now I need to peek at my notes that I don't forget anything. I'm really grateful that I don't have to commute anymore. I can't believe I didn't think about that first. So we've actually had the biggest winter in not the biggest winter, sorry, we had the biggest snowfall in Tahoe on record this February. We've had so much snow, I think in total 300 inches if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on it if I'm incorrect. And usually during that time it's so difficult for me to commute back and forth to my old job. And I was so grateful to not having to do this. I've had so much more energy. I could really tell at the beginning of the month when I started, I was so exhausted just from that month of January, of going through all of the emotions, of leaving my job, and you know, a lot of preparations, a lot of commuting. And being here full time now is so wonderful for me. I feel like I have more energy. I like, you know, sometimes you look in the mirror and you're thinking, oh my god, like I look so exhausted, and I really feel like I'm looking better, I'm feeling better, and it's had a huge impact on my life to finally be here and do what I love to do. So I'm really grateful for that. I am really grateful for my upcoming vacation because when you're listening to this episode this week, I will be sitting at the beach in Mexico and I'm super excited about some relaxation time because the last 2 months have been really, really stressful and really exciting and really, yeah, everything. So my fiance and I haven't had the chance yet to celebrate our engagement a little bit. That already happened at the end of November, so it's 3 months ago. And yeah, I'm super excited to go to Tulum and sit by the beach and explore and adventure, and I'm really grateful to be able to do this as well. And that's why I've been really busy this week, preparing a lot of different things for my YouTube channel, for my Instagram account. I've written blog posts, everything is kind of in motion. And yeah, I really feel really grateful for all of these wonderful things in my life. The next question is, what did I learn this month? And I have already talked a little bit about this in my gratefulness thing, because I am really grateful for learning all the time. I love learning. I think it's so important. And I've learned so many things. So I have, for example, learned through kind of a challenging situation myself that it is really important to set expectations and to communicate properly with stakeholders and with new clients. I've had an experience this month where I felt like there was some miscommunication and some incorrect expectation setting that almost led to not getting a really amazing opportunity that I will speak about once it's going on. And yeah, that was really a good learning for me, you know, because I've never done business development in my life before. It's the very first time. And it is not easy. It's not easy to put yourself out there. It's not easy to connect with people you don't know, you know. I'm using a lot LinkedIn for all of different kinds of outreach. So so it's really getting yourself out there, presenting yourself in a good way. That's been a big learning for me, a big learning curve. I mentioned already all of the content that I've been creating over the last 4 weeks. So really learning of how to create beautiful custom thumbnails for my YouTube videos with Photoshop was a challenge. Photoshop, I don't know if you know how to Photoshop, but it can be such a frustrating tool, and at the same time it's so beautiful, and once you figure things out, it looks so great. So I can only recommend you here, just go on Google or on YouTube and search for whatever it is that you're having struggles with. I'm literally sitting here watching tutorials. Everything is out there, and I'm so grateful that it is, because it really helped me to do all of these things on my own and not have to ask any other people or hire anyone and spend money. So that was a great learning for me as well. And now I need to peek again at my notes if I have everything. Yeah, and then I think one of the things that I've been really learning is about, you know, setting the right expectations. Expectations is a huge thing, and I feel like expectations is a big topic that can make us feel really stressed. So yeah, so setting the right expectations and really keeping expectations low, or trying not to have any expectations, which is so super hard in itself, is an important thing when you're building a new business, because I've only just started and it's been 4 weeks. It's been a wonderful time. I'm really happy to be at home. I'm really happy to work on all of these really exciting things. And at the same time, I think in the 3rd week, it started to bubble up for me to think like, oh, like I don't have really any bookings yet, or I don't really have any clients yet, you know, but everything takes time, and like success is not coming overnight, you know. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I constantly have to remind myself to be patient, and to to keep my expectations low, and that just really to believe in this process and keep it going. The next question I answered was, how were my stress levels? As a stress manager, I'm obviously always really aware of my stress levels, and I am always really critical with myself. You know, I want to practice what I preach. So how were my stress levels? They were definitely better. You know, I didn't need to commute anymore, which was really helpful in itself. I didn't have a job anymore that I wasn't fully enjoying anymore, and so I moved really into this space of creation and excitement, so that definitely helped with my stress levels. And at the same time, I am a total ambitious, crazy workaholic person, and being at home and being able to work on all of the wonderful things that I'm planning to do at all times is stressful, because I really need to be strict with myself to take regular breaks. And to have fun, you know, like I know it sounds so simple, but I know so many people that are so strict with themselves, just like me, and that don't go out and have fun. So that was really something that I constantly needed to remind myself of. Like, we've had a wonderful snowy month, which means lots of snowboarding, lots of splitboarding that I could do, but I didn't. I did do it a little bit, in all fairness, but I could have done it more. So that's definitely something that I've been observing. Another thing is that I feel like so basically the first thing is I need to be a little bit more aware of taking regular breaks. And then the second thing with that kind of comes as well is making sure that I'm eating on a regular basis and healthy foods. We've been very spoiled at Google of, having cafeterias and having like small kitchens in the buildings filled with snacks and healthy fruits and drinks, and everything is just right at your fingertip. And now that I'm at home, I need to take care of that myself. And so it's hard, because I'm really busy, and I'm really getting into these things of working on all of these cool things, and it's hard. I'm taking a break, maybe, I start to work at like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I might take a break if I don't pay attention only at 2 or 3 o'clock, and then I'm really hungry, and not getting into like the unhealthy foods at that time is kind of challenging for me. So that's definitely on my list for next month, to get a little bit better at that. And then kind of tied into this question of how did I manage my stress levels, I also want to look at what kind of new experiences am I having in order to de-stress and in order to relax. So my partner, who is a super sweet person, bought me a splitboarding setup. So who doesn't know what a splitboard is, it's basically looks like a snowboard cut in half, and you can put it together or you can take it apart, and you can actually do backcountry riding, where you climb up a mountain, kind of on, looks like skis, and then on top of the mountain you put it back together and you ride down the mountain. Super fun. So I'm really excited for this new experience. Tested it out for the first time this month and had a lot of fun. So that is one of the new experiences that I had this month. I also did a couple of other things. I, for example, went to a really interesting kava workshop from a friend who's a yoga teacher. And we were doing some yoga, and then afterwards there was a girl there, her name was Rochelle, and she talked about how can kava, which is kind of an old Hawaiian Pacific Island root that you can drink in order to feel more relaxed and de-stressed. If you are interested to learn more about it, go online and search for kava. I do not believe a lot into any drugs or in any enhancing products, so it was an experience and I did enjoy it, but I do not want to I just think everybody needs to decide for themselves if they like those kind of enhancers and helpers or not. Obviously also a stress releasing medium. Decide for yourself if you think that's something that you can work with. What else did I do? I feel like there was a couple of other experiences that I had. Oh yeah, I've also done some artwork. I actually created a wonderful dream catcher, and I'm really excited actually because I've been planning to do this probably for 4 or 5 months now, and I've had all of the tools that I needed at home, but I just never got to do it. And this week, when I was sitting watching TV in the evening with my partner, I was like, no, I'm gonna get this started. And I will show it to you at the end in the video. I need to continue the recording, but I will show you at the end so you can take a look at it as well. It's really beautiful. I'm very proud of it. And yeah, so I did that as well. And finally, I also reached out to a couple of old friends, which is always really fun. Obviously, building my business, it's always really important to create these new networks. And I helped a friend by going with her to a prenatal yoga class. She's pregnant and she didn't want to go on her own, so I said, okay, I'm gonna come with you, and that was a really fun experience as well. Yeah, so really great experiences that are helping me to de-stress and that really help me to focus on myself. What else do I have here on my piece of paper? I've had the questions, what 3 learnings do I want to share with you in order to better manage stress also as an entrepreneur, So I already mentioned a couple of things. The first thing is really to trust the process. Such an important thing, such an important reminder. I'm probably telling myself this almost every day because I'm an incredibly impatient person and I want to get everything done right now, and I want to reach out to 5 people and I want 4 people to get back to me, which is unfortunately not a realistic way to look at it. And so really trusting in the process and trusting in creating all this beautiful content for you to really help you better manage stress is my most important priority at the moment, and everything else will come with that. I'm really truly believing in that. So trust the process, first learning. Second learning, be patient. Patience is a virtue, I think they once said. So yeah, I'm practicing patience. Again, I'm constantly reminded of how impatient I am, and I'm getting really frustrated with that. Like I mentioned, for example, I don't have any really clients or bookings yet that came out this month, and it's I'm constantly trying to remind myself it's only the first month. Like, what do I expect? But it's still hard because we are in this kind of whirlwind of all the emotions, and we want to make sure that more and more people will be exposed to this information, and I really want to help. So, really believing, I think, in what I'm creating and trusting in the process and being patient is 2 of the biggest learnings that I can share from this month. And then finally, I think one of the biggest learnings as well was I mentioned that earlier too, to practice what you preach and to take time for yourself. So important. I know I mentioned it almost in all of the contents that I create, like self-care is so important. And here I am, sitting from morning to evening to create all of these different things, to talk to people, to record podcast interviews, to write blog posts. It all takes time, and it's all not running away. And I have a really beautiful dog. Her name is Izzy, and super sweet little animal, and I'm glad that I have her. Very grateful for her because she reminds me twice a day to go out for a walk with her, and I usually do a really beautiful walk down to the lake, and I'm really happy that I have her. So now that we've reflected a little bit February 2019, I want to also take 2 or 3 minutes to go into March 2019. What do I want to do differently in March? And what do I want to do differently in March? I want to get in a better healthy workout routine, and in a more like, I really want to have 4 days per week that I go either to a yoga class or to the mountain snowboarding or really to the gym, because it's really important for me. And I think that it really helps with my stress levels, and I really need to integrate that better into my schedule. And then the second thing is that I need to eat better. I am a big fan of chocolate. I love eating any kinds of chocolate. I love hot chocolate with cream. And again, when you're being at home and you're having all of these nice things lying around, it's very hard to resist. So, really being mindful of my diet and my exercise routine, because I am a very ambitious person. So I am not really worried about my business and my business development and all of the things, but I'm more worried about myself, and keeping myself in check is what I want to focus on in March. And then one little recommendation as well. I have started a new book that my sister recommended to me. The name is Dale Carnegie, How to Find Friends and Influence People. And it's already started super interesting, and I just started listening to it on audiobook. And I will definitely share more about this. I feel like that's a really powerful topic as well, to not get stressed out and influence people in the right way, or not to have any like difficult relationships influence your emotions. So I will share that with you. And this is all I had for today. So thank you so much for listening to today's podcast episode. I hope you could draw some conclusions. Don't forget, stress management is a skill that everyone can learn. So take care, and hear you soon. Julia.